My name is Commissioner Frank Avila, and this is Avila Making a Difference. And the topic of our show today is Release Your Incredible Vitality. And as my guest, I have Chef Mehmet, and he's the #1 chef in the whole United States on vegan, raw vegan. And I met Mehmet because my wife, my lovely wife, about 3 years ago, she changed the way I ate. She took me down to California, Orange Grove, California, and I thought I was going to a spa. And I went to a place that's called Optimum Health Institute, and it was a place where we ate nothing but raw vegetables. We stayed 3 weeks, and we ate breakfast, lunch, and supper, raw vegetables. They believe that you do not eat anything that had a mother. A cow, a pig, a chicken, and we liquid fast Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on vegetable juice. And the first week was very hard on me. It was very difficult, and my kids gave me a call after the first week. He says, "Dad, how's it going?" Because they all thought I was going to the spa. And I said, "You know, I think your mother went nuts, because all we were doing is eating raw vegetables." But after the second, third week, I got used to it. I was taking high blood pressure pills. During that first, second, third week, I didn't have to take high blood pressure pills. My cholesterol dropped to 96. My triglycerin, my HDL, my LDL was at its optimum. And so when I came back here, my doctor says, "Whatever you're doing, keep on doing it." And so I don't eat it 100%, but I looked around here in the Chicagoland area, and I found out there was one raw vegan restaurant in the city of Chicago, and the #1 chef, as I mentioned, is Chef Mehmet. And did I pronounce it right? Mehmet?
Yeah, Mehmet.
Mehmet, Chef Mehmet. What does raw mean? Explain it to our audience,
Sure.
Mehmet.
Raw means the original food that we as a human beings had for millions of years. Means that something not processed or something is not cooked, something is not damaged. All the enzymes are present, so that when we have the food as it is, the way they are, so that they can actually nourish our body fully. So raw means actually, to me, is like the original food that what we're supposed to eat. That's what it means.
Now, Mehmet, a lot of people nowadays, they say you go to Whole Foods to buy organic food, or you go to Jews, non-organic food. Is there a difference on what you eat raw?
Definitely, it's very important to have all organic. Organic really makes a big difference. As far as the nutritional value is anywhere from 25% to 250% more nutrition on the organic products. Also, organic means our soil's been treated with respect and love, and that's also ties to, we cannot have healthy body without a healthy soil. So our lands and our soil to be healthy means we can have healthy bodies. So we have to have all our supplies produced, greens, fruits, seeds, and nuts has to come from the organic lands or organic practices. So we are really believing the organics, and we are actually encouraging more farmers to become organic, because that's just the way to go.
And by organic, that means that they're not using a processed fertilizer.
Yeah, they're not using any fungicide, pesticide, herbicide, insecticide, and some other growth hormones. So that's really a big thing. You know, for example, if you get a conventional apple, it has been sprayed about 17 times.
17 times?
Yeah, just about 17 times in the process. Rather, organic practice might spray something more organic practices that it actually, those doesn't actually have chemical impact on our bodies, because we do observe all the chemicals that are absorbed by the fruits or veggies. It actually, our body gets to observe all that also.
And so that's why why raw, and that's why we should go raw.
Yeah, we should definitely go raw, and we should definitely have all that as organic, because it's clean, it's pure.
It's pure.
Yeah, it's clean, it's pure.
Versus, as I mentioned, I went to that place where they believe that you don't eat anything that had a mother.
That's right.
Huh?
You want to have all your fruits have seeds in them. That's another thing that we pay attention to, have fruits that has seeds in them. It's very important to have that something in the nature as a natural stage that it can actually reproduce again. So that's just saying that we don't want to have anything that has no seeds in it, because it is actually another issue. I mean, some of the seeds are genetically modified, so that it actually can cause another harmful things to our bodies.
Now, tell us about your background.
My background, I actually been really interested in the food since I'm 7 years old. As I was a little boy.
And 7, you're about 10 years old now, 11 years old, so about 4 years later.
4 years later. Thanks. Yes, I fall in love with my mother's cooking, and I used to wake up very early in the morning, and I used to go into the valley and pick up these wild mushrooms very early in the morning, and she'll saute them with onions and tomatoes and parsley and some other herbs, and I just loved it. And I guess that is really how I really got turned on to kitchen work, because I just want to be around my mom, and I wanted to learn from her. And since that age, actually, I'm always in the kitchen doing something, and that's how I actually become a chef pretty much all my life. I've been working in the restaurants, in all different areas of the restaurants also. So that's how my journey began, when I was about 7 years old, actually. And since then, I'm actually always loving food, being with the food, preparing food, yeah.
And, and probably about that time when you're 7 years old, the farmers may not have been using that much processed fertilizer, herbicides, pesticides at that time.
None whatsoever. I don't remember any chemicals was used in our lands. Where I was born in Turkey, the city called Izmit, and we use actually natural fertilizer, mostly sometime animal compost, and we have our own compost also we made naturally. And we're pretty much aware of that. We want to have our soil to be all natural, and not to use any kind of chemicals, which is we call at that time, to really have our stuff not to be natural. So we choose to have natural, which is we call natural. We don't even have the word organic even that time, because everything was pretty much all organic, all natural.
That's strange, isn't it, that now in 2008 we're using the word organic.
Yes.
Whereas before, maybe before the war, that there wasn't such a word as organic, because all the food that was coming was organic.
Yes.
And now it's last 20, 40, 50 years is processed food. Now we're going to organic, the word organic now. A lot of the people that eat vegan or chefs that are making vegan food did that because they had some type of health problem. Was that, did it have a role in your life?
Well, I was definitely, I wasn't really vegan or even vegetarian before 2004, October. I was actually a very, very heavy person, 100 pounds heavier than what I am right now, and that was one of the issues for me, and my cholesterol was definitely high. And I went through the detox program with the local lady here in Chicago. And in the detox program, I actually learned that there's a distinction of the way that you can eat like live food and have all natural herbs to cleanse your body, flush the toxins out. And that's actually what I did. And that's when I was introduced to the raw food in 2004, October. And during that program, I was able to lose about 15 pounds. And I really liked it, the experience. And I cut out all the processed food, the meat, all the processed sugar, and pretty much all the cooked food.
I think that processed sugar really has an effect on one's health.
Yes, it does. Yeah. So now we are actually learned to use other sweeteners that it will not impact our sugar level so much other than just the processed sugar. So there's many ways to get our sweet tooth to be satisfied by natural ingredients.
And so this is one of the reasons why you went raw then?
That's one of the reasons I went raw, because I want to lower my cholesterol.
Like mine? Mine got lowered to 96?
Yeah, mine is about there, 90s and 100s, somewhere there. Mine was about 285.
285. Now look at me now. Since I've been on this diet, majority of the time eating vegan, I'm good looking. Yeah, I got a nice personality, a good dancer, and a good singer. I'll tell you, there's nothing wrong with going vegan.
Yeah, you're exactly. That's the only way to go.
And I feel when I strictly, let's say I spend a month going strictly vegan, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, I feel a lot better than when I go off it. And sometimes I do go off it. Sometimes I have a weakness for chocolate. but then I could feel inside of me that I gotta go back to eating vegan.
Yeah, that is very correct. You know, once you clean out your palates, your taste buds really changes, and then you actually start craving for more greens, more vegetables, more natural food. Even if you fall back a little bit, you're like, what am I doing here? You know, your body will start talking to you and telling you, okay, you know, this is just not what you want. And then you go back to eating natural, really healthy food, which is what we call plant-based diet.
Plant-based. Now, you know, let's say there's your audience that's watching this show. What is the process you recommend for someone interested in going raw, and they want to go raw because of health reasons?
Yes.
Because is it mainly the people that want to go raw because of health reasons, or is that the main reason for going raw?
That could be a really good reason to go for health reason, because everyone, all of us, we have to achieve optimum health, as you mentioned earlier, and we know that plants are really very easy for us to digest. And so going raw, and it's one of the things that I can suggest to going raw, is really learn to eat greens.
Learn to eat greens?
Yes, that's the step one, is to learn to eat greens, like not just piece of lettuce in between your sandwiches, but if you are eating rice, for example, just have a bowl of salads, or go to farmers market, the local farmers market, and find the organic stuff in the farmers market and choose that, and try more greens and add more greens in your diet. You'll see that your diet and your life and your health will slowly improve at the optimum level. And that's the number one step. We have to learn how to eat greens, because greens has the most calcium that our body needs, and that's where calcium balances everything and then brings our level of pH level of our blood to the alkaline level. So we need to get enough calcium to achieve the optimum health, basically. Without calcium, nothing works.
And our body, you mentioned pH, our body should stay at a level between what, 6 and 8? The alkaline?
7.
Well, 7 is perfect, yeah.
And 7.2
yeah.
is really optimum, and it is really not hard to do that.
Just
it's very easy to achieve optimum. You know, you have enough liquids, you know, like water. Coconut water is another one that we always mention. Green juices, green smoothies, just greens, basically. Like, just add more greens to your diet. Really, that's the best.
You know, have you found out that now that you've been having your restaurant, which is located on Irving, about 3 blocks east of Kedzie here in Chicago, that people that come to you and buy your food are becoming less sick, and they're using less prescription drugs?
Yes, you know, we have actually this program called Lightbox program, and I think you are in that program too at one point, you and your family, your son, your wife also. In that program, we give people, like, we have a model, like a pyramid, that we call 50% greens, 25% seeds, and 25% fruits. So inside of that pyramid, you do achieve optimum health, and you let your sometimes diabetes issues can, you know, release and reverse, and sometimes some other heart medicines can be released.
Yeah, so that means that we're taking less prescription drugs. The reason why I'm mentioning it is that it appears that by eating vegan, vegan, that you're helping the environment.
Yeah,
because if you're helping the environment, you tend to be less sick. You tend to go to the doctor less. You tend to take pharmaceutical drugs less, and so you when you intake that, you eliminate it through your human waste. It goes into the environment, and here in the Chicagoland area, where we're reading in the paper that there are pharmaceutical drugs in our water supply.
Yes.
So by being healthy, the vegan way, you're doing yourself a benefit. And you're also benefiting the environment and the people here in the Chicagoland area, or throughout the world.
Completely sustainable. You know,
yes.
I really agree with you 100% on that. It is completely sustainable to have vegan, live, plant-based diet, so that we even, when we cut off some of the vegetables, we cut off the stems, and we have those stems actually blended with some flax seeds, and we turn them into really yummy crackers. so that it actually don't get to the waste. And we have other people that come in and getting some of our vegetable pieces and they compose. So anything in the raw plant-based diet could be reused up, and it will really serve us much better to our planet also.
Yeah, you know, I didn't mention this to you, but I went and had a PSA done.
Okay.
And my level was 4, 6, and 11. So that's where I went, and I went to you, and I got that 3-month supply. I think I did about 4 or 5 months, and I was on that diet for 3, 4, 5 months, and then my PSA level was dropping. It dropped down to 6, and now it's 3.5. And the doctor, you know, he took a biopsy of me, and I have to go for one more, but it dropped just by going on your diet, on raw vegan. So if anyone out there is having some PSA problems, go to Mehmet's restaurant, cousin restaurant, located on Irving, 3 blocks east of Kedzie, and he may solve your problems. But, you know, detox, you mentioned detox.
Yes.
What is detox? I know that a lot of us are eating food that we should not eat.
Well,
and so detox
is like, actually the detox the body is like resting, like really resting your body and giving your body a break and cleansing out some of the toxins that accumulated over the years could come from the food supplies, the conversation, the air, the water, whatever you're drinking, whatever you're doing, it could actually accumulate it in your body. So while when you're detoxing, you're able to clean these chemicals out, because last 50 years they're saying there are more than 70 million chemicals been introduced to our food supplies.
70 million?
70 million. That's not a small number, right?
You mean these are the chemicals that are used to grow our crops?
Yeah, crops, anything on the shelf.
For human consumption?
Yeah, the crops and everything that you've been consuming in the standard American diet, there are chemicals everywhere all the time, you know. So our body doesn't know it is chemicals, and our body is not familiar, because last 100 years things just shifted, and when your body doesn't recognize it and it stores it somewhere in your body, and then that's one of the reasons that we get to obesity very high level right now. So what happens, detoxing is like you're doing like almost oil change for your body, like 2 times a year. And that's taking care of yourself and doing the maintenance for yourself is what all about detox is.
And
like giving your body a rest, yes, because your body is really exhausted and tired all the time by consuming however you're consuming, and you really need a break to really have that stuff actually expel out of your body.
And that's so you're just giving you mentioned an oil change. You're changing your
flushing your stuff out. You know,
flushing everything out of your body and that's detox.
Yes, that's detox.
And that is what is detox now. And then why should we detox? You just mentioned that then.
Yeah, why should we detox is that stuff gets accumulated, and once it's accumulated, and it can actually sip through our bloodstream and cause like all kinds of chronic disease, sickness, cancers, and all that stuff can sift through, and it could cause these problems. But if you keep detoxing at least 2 times a year, that's what science recommends, doctors recommend these days, that you want to have a detox, and there's many different ways to do detox, you know, like the Ayurvedic herbs, the way we do at the Cousins every month actually. We have groups of 10 to 15, sometimes 30 people in our detox program, which includes all your food, all your supplies, and all your herbs. And through that process, everyone gets results. You know, if there's a heavy person, it will lose the weight up to 30 pounds. I have seen the person lose 30 pounds right in front of my eyes. And then maybe sometimes person doesn't need to lose any weights, they don't lose any weights, and they keep their weights in the optimum level. But mainly, detox is not a weight loss program. It's actually really cleansing yourself out, flushing all the toxins out of your body, purified your blood, cleanse your liver, your kidney, all your digestive system basically, because stuff really sits there and cause a lot of issues.
So this is not fasting. I know I was just coming down here to the studio on the radio. This one gal fast, it was a religious fast, and she had a liquid diet, and she lost 30 pounds. But that was fasting on a religious way, their way of life. But that doesn't mean cleaning your body, right? Detox and fasting are 2 different things.
Yes, well, most of the time, actually, really good point that you have here, Frank. that fasting is always part of the detox. Becomes
Fasting
because
is?
yes, it is. Fasting is actually on the final phase of the detox program, which is we fast 7 days in our detox program. And there are people that never even fast in their life, even one day. They actually learn to fast, and that's why I say it's relaxing and giving your body a rest. When you go on the fasting, that is the time that your body actually dumps most of the toxins.
So,
That's the mode.
so if our audience out there come to you, Mehmet, and says, look, I want to join your program and I want to detox. And the first question they're going to ask you, how long does it take?
Well, my program is about 28 days. Of course, it's not my program, but the program that we have here in Chicago is 28 days, which is 4 weeks. That, you know, this program was originally invented by Dr. Ann Wigmer. She was one of the pioneers in the raw food world and cleansing, wheatgrass shots, green juice. So she's the mother of all that. So these are basically.
So you mentioned what, wheatgrass juice?
Yes, wheatgrass. We give our people, when they come to detox, we give them unlimited wheatgrass shots. You're familiar with that yourself.
Oh, yes, yes.
And the green juice, unlimited green juice throughout the program.
Unlimited green?
Unlimited green juice. And we give you all the food and plus all Ayurvedic herbs. They're all organic, never been sterilized or cooked. And so during the program, you slowly take herbs a little bit increase, and then you decrease the food. And by the time you get the 4th phase, which is the 4th week, you then start fasting, and then you'll be surprised.
But your energy is still there.
Yeah, your energy is still there.
You have
you're
the
still
nutrients,
playing.
yeah.
You're still working. You're still traveling. You're still doing everything you're already doing. You're not, you know, and you're not like running to the bathroom or anything like that. It's not like that. It's very gentle. It's very easy, and it is really great program that we offer here. And this is actually one of the top program in the whole country right now. What we offer.
Okay, let's go through this again. It takes about 28 days.
Yes.
Right? So the first week, they'll come in, right?
Yes.
And the first day, what do they do? What do you give them the first day?
First day when they arrive, we talk about the herbs, and we talk about the program, and everyone introduce themselves, and then they talk about their intentions, why they're here, and we also give them the first pick up their food for it should at least last about 3 to 3.5 days.
Okay, so they go to first date, and it's a group, probably about 8-10 people. They all become friends like a family.
Yes,
and
that's
then,
the whole thing, like creating a really good community and support group.
A support group, because that's the key.
Yes.
And then you prepare food, raw, vegan food for them for 3 to 4 days.
Yes.
And
then every 3 days they come and get another box.
And every 3 days they come and get another. And,
and then Sunday night, our meetings are Sunday night,
so again,
and then we meet up again Sunday night, and that night then they share their experiences, like how was your week, what were you up to, and then what's coming up for you, how are the herbs, what is the your experiences, and then everyone shares, and we basically want to keep inspire each other to stay in the program, because it is really work. It is really something that you take on, and it's not like just easy thing. You're giving up something, you're letting go something, and you're learning something about yourself, and you start understanding about your body and your temple and loving yourself. It's just really incredible journey. Like it's amazing.
And that's the key. So what type food are you giving them for the 3 days? Could you mention some? Is it like broccoli?
Sure.
Like spinach, like seaweed, like sprouts, or
all of that? All of that. Like
there's no steak, no chicken, no fish, no pork, right?
No animal products.
No
period.
animal product, no dairy products.
No dairy products.
Just raw vegan.
Yeah,
right?
It's all raw vegan
Raw
and
vegan.
never been cooked.
Never been cooked.
Never been cooked or heated, like heat-free, fire-free, and it's all designed to give you more calcium. Like we give you a lot of
some of the foods that you give.
So you get like a lasagna, for example, and I know that I use the name lasagna.
Pasta. I love pasta.
Yeah, when we use the zucchini, we shred them so thin.
Yeah.
And then we make them like a pasta taste, and you don't even know there's not a pasta in there. And then we were able to mimic the cheese with the almond cheese, and we were able to make the marinara with the really nice organic plum tomatoes and the basil and the garlic, the whole 9 yards.
And that's
so you won't
pasta,
even know this. You're not eating regular lasagna. and that's definitely the raw culinary is gluten-free and soya-free also. So we don't have no gluten products and no soya products, period.
Well, I do like that pasta meal. Okay, 'cause that's your pasta. What other kind of?
We have Caesar salads, you know, like the Caesar dressing. We're able to make that with seaweed, like give the fish taste. And then we're able to make like kebabs with soaking and sprouting some of the seeds and nuts. We're able to make hummus. We're able to make you know, sushi, nori rolls, and we're able to make teriyakis. We're able to make actually everything that in the cook world, we're able to mimic everything and have the taste even much better and never been cooked and taste like cooked, and have everything already unprocessed to prepare for you, like I said, 3 meals a day for 3.5 days. Those are in the boxes.
And so this is detox for 28 days. A person is detoxing their body.
Yes.
And the benefit that they're going to get after 28 days is what then?
Benefits that they're going to get if this person is heavy, quitting this diet that they already had and choosing this diet, first of all, and the program is going to have them lose anywhere from 5 to 25 pounds just by stop eating cooked food.
And in a healthy way. In a healthy way.
Very healthy way. And they're not going to starve.
Yeah.
They're going to have plenty of food and they're going to love it and they're going to enjoy it, of course, right? And that's one of the benefits. The weight loss is one of the most important benefits for the heavyset person. Another benefit is really sleeping like babies and waking up in the morning with like clarity and feeling good and just want to like live. You just want to have jump off your bed, not like alarm is trying to wake you up and you don't want to wake up. So you'll have that benefits. And another benefit is you know, you have your skin clear and you have some of the acne disappear. So your complexion will be great, and your focus. Because when you clean down here in your digestive system, your mind becomes clear. You get your instincts back. So your focus is there, and your productivity level is going to go higher even. So you'll be more focused, more productive for sure. So there's a number of more of benefits show up. Depends on the person's life, you know, how toxic their diet was before and how much they're cleansing. So much benefits out of just being in 28 days detox, and you won't even miss some of the stuff that you were doing before, because once you shift it after the second week, you will adjust it very easily.
Well, that's the key. As I mentioned, when I went down to Lemon Grove for 3 weeks, that first week was very difficult. And so how do you help in the 28 days to help your little group succeed?
Well, we call them every Wednesday and send an email. Okay. And then we also ask everyone to give us a call. And we also invite everyone to come and visit us, you know, cousins at the cousins pretty much every day if they choose to. And we send them an email and then have them email access back to us also. We check those daily. So we support them and we give them a really nice booklet, and it has the guidelines, and we also create a folder. So we make a lot of recommendations to stay on the program. So basically, I tell you, 90% of the folks are pretty much in the program, 100% successful, and that's a success rate since 2006 January that we've been doing this program.
And they follow after your 28 days. They still follow it, and you know, sometimes I find it's less expensive to go and pick up his meal for 3 months because everything is prepared for you.
Right now, especially, you know, you just mentioned, because we've been working with local farmers. We work with 3 farmers. We create a new program. Is all you can eat for whole month is $250. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So like that, and that is what, like you mentioned, it is really not so much cost there to have local access, local farmers giving us their products, and we have the people access to local products here in Chicago.
Now, you mentioned during the show live box.
Yes.
A live box, and what is a live box? You mean the like I know sometimes when a person eats meat, they want it rare, so it's live, and you're eating that calf is still live. When you mention live box, is that vegetable, the vegan, is that live? Is that what you're saying?
We actually called it live. It's the, you know, our design of these live boxes are completely plant-based, so there's no animal products for sure. Live also means that nothing has been cooked, it's all raw, all vegan. And in the box, as I mentioned, there's a design of the box for detox programs and design a box for also folks that they come and get their food from us regularly.
Oh, two different types of light boxes.
Yes, there are two different. Actually, we're designing now a new kind of light box for kids, and then we're designing new ones for pregnant women. So we will have those light boxes also available probably next couple of months.
Do you have is there such a thing in a vegan, raw vegan food? If one is a diabetic and one is a non-diabetic, because I know that some of the fruits have a lot of sugar, so maybe a diabetic shouldn't eat a lot of the fruit. Is that such a thing?
That is a really good point, Frank. I'm glad that you mentioned that, because that's another light box that we're preparing for diabetes now, that it will not impact one's sugar level at the high level. Yes, we will be watching that, and we are actually working with a couple of MDs with that to also, keep educating us about sugar level and also diabetes. That we will be working also some other cancer societies in Chicago to invite them and teach them how to prepare some live food in their organization. If I can mention the name of one of the organization that we will be working,
sure.
Gildas Club in Chicago, and they're also another cancer organization that help people who expose the cancer or has the cancer. So we will be working with them and doing programs with them and helping those patients and people to understand that they can actually achieve another level of health, or have some of the symptoms less for them to heal themselves through the eating live food.
Well, I'm a firm believer that eating the proper food benefit a person's health. And I know that if a person doesn't have much dollars, that going raw vegan is a lot less expensive than buying your meat or your fish or chicken. Because, if a person has a home and he has a garden out in his backyard, he could grow.
Yes.
He could grow all that raw vegan and eat that.
That's the best. I think, if you have that chance to grow some vegetables in your backyard, that is really the only way to go for raw, and that is the really best. Have your own couple of fruit trees and couple of vegetables behind your backyard and grow that even seasonal. That will really help. Even another one that we can recommend is sprouting. You can have a little garden in your kitchen. You can sprout alfalfa, broccoli, you can sprout sunflower seeds, and many other seeds are there available today to, you can sprout in your kitchen, and then you can harvest them as you go. That is the time when something sprouted, all those seeds sprouted, you can harvest them when they're really young and babies. That is really nourishes our body at the optimum level. And I think you had those wheatgrass juice when you were down to optimum health, right?
Oh, yes. I mean, it took me a couple of days to get accustomed to drinking the wheatgrass, but after a while, it just came natural. And what was beneficial for me is that I actually went and I got the wheatgrass, put it in the grinder, in the juice grinder, and made my own wheatgrass. So my wife and I, every morning, we drank wheatgrass juice. And I firmly believe that that's what lowered my cholesterol, my optimum on my triglycerin,
Yes.
LDL. I mean, everything on my blood test. The doctor was amazed on how my blood result was.
Yes, I do believe that the wheatgrass is a miracle food. You can, anytime you have opportunity to have a couple of shots of that, really you can go for it. It will just make difference right away. One shot of wheatgrass is almost like equivalent to 3 pounds of vegetables. Just 1 ounce.
3 pounds of vegetables?
Yes, 1 ounce of that is just like, it is like a miracle food. It has so much benefits for us, like off the chart, really, basically.
And then you explain what is a light box, but why do a light box? Why should a person? You explain the benefit. Well, why should I go, or the audience go out and do a light box? Because I got 3 of my friends. I got Bill Godomsky.
Okay.
I got Pops, and I got Tony. Those 3 people, I tell you, should do light box.
Okay.
Because
great.
you should see what they eat. It's amazing what they eat. But explain to them.
Okay.
Why do
Well,
a light
one
box?
of the reason that we want to do the light box is that, as I mentioned earlier, it is really has a balance of bringing your alkalinity at to the least optimum level, 7 point or higher, to the 7.2.
And why should our body stay at that alkaline? Why?
Well, two things your body does all day. I mean, there's no science behind. It's just as we are, as a human being, we observe and we expel all day long, right? That we do that automatically all day long. And sometimes we're unconscious about this.
So we eat and eliminate.
Yes, we eat and eliminate.
Yeah.
And then when we eat, we observe the energy, right? We observe the energy from the food supplies, we energy from the water supplies, and the sun energy also. So if your body is not alkaline, this process actually goes in default. And that's called being acidic, and that's where all the cancers and sickness and other disease happens in our body when you have acidic metabolism. So you want to keep your body at the alkaline level so that you can actually observe and expel, observe and expel, observe and expel. It only happens when you're alkaline.
So
if you're not
absorb
alkaline,
and expel, absorb and expel. Okay.
it's just a simple language that I'm explaining. Yeah. That's the only thing, as a simple, that's what your body does. And if you're acidic, then your body doesn't observe and your body doesn't expel. It starts storing things because there is no energy, there is no vital energy in the body that who can actually do that. And if you don't have that, then, you know, what do? You choose to stay on the couch. You stay not to get out more often. You don't get sun. And then that's where obesity begins, by being acidic. So our light box achieved the optimum health by just giving you more calcium, more veggies, more greens, so that you can start feeling good immediately. Like in the first week.
And our body, as we get up in the morning, if one were to take a blood test, check his alkaline or acidity in his body, he could see how our body changes through the day.
Yes, right? You can do that at the little saliva taste. Yes, they have a taste
acidity or alkaline, and observe, and that's why it's best at noon if a person wants to go on raw, should eat more vegetables at noon to keep his body as it moves into the evening into the alkaline level.
Well, definitely. Speaking myself, it's been 4 years now. I have not assumed any kind of animal products or any kind of dairy products as well, and I was able to keep my weight off, and I'm very alkaline, and I have not felt any kind of sickness or drowsiness or anything really. It's just like I feel good every day, and I feel like I got my youth back, just so to speak. Lots of energy. I work a lot of hours, and I'm very productive, and you will actually get your youth back by consuming live food.
Do you know, Mehmet, there's a lot of people out there that say that they don't have time to prepare a vegan food. Providing personal meal, is that a growing trend now? Do you find that people are coming to your restaurant, located on Irving, 3 blocks east of Kedzie, coming to your restaurant and providing, look, they say, I don't have time to make this raw vegan, and I don't know how. Do you find that a growing trend now that they're coming to you to say, look, I like
that's the whole purpose.
Personal meal?
Personal meal is, we do personal meals in our light boxes, and that's one of the reasons we designed the light boxes, because we have this stuff can be stay at least 3 days and 3.5 days to be available, and can have the freshness in the good temperature, the refrigerated temperature, so that it become convenient. You can take some of these light boxes to the work, some of them in your home, and is already prepared for you, and it is not very expensive. It's incredibly reasonable, and we do choose lots of local stuff. So
do they have to have a cooler when they pick up your, or when they take it to work? Do they have to?
Yes, they should have cooler in their workplace to have the stuff cool, fresh, so that, because organic doesn't stay around too long. It gets sometimes molds on them, and sometimes wilted very fast, very quickly. So for that, we recommend to keep the foods, in the packages in a really nice temperature, like at least 40 and below, as refrigeration temperature. So that is really important, and we're actually working on to get ourselves refrigerated trucks that we will be delivering very soon on the refrigerated trucks all over the Chicagolands. And we are doing deliveries right now at the short distance, but we will be delivering longest distance with the refrigerated trucks ourselves. So that delivery is available now, but it will be more available and not so costly also.
Now, a live box. Do you? I know that a lot of people, when they go buy or prepare a meal, they'll say calories. The meat has 180 calories. Do you? Is there such a thing in your live box on calories or not?
Well, honestly,
Or that's a good question. That I don't know
okay.
calories.
It's a really great question. Those questions get asked us all the time. We don't count calories, and we are really saying that calories are really illusion. We count nutritions now, completely opposite of the calories. So if you count your nutritions, like I said, you want to have enough, like if you achieve 50% greens, 25% seeds and nuts, and 25%
seeds and nuts,
25% seeds and nuts, and 25% fruits, that is the way you can achieve optimal health.
So name some of the nuts that one should eat.
Yes, definitely. It's really, almonds are really good ones. We want to make sure that they're not, of course, one of the things that is going on with the almond world right now. They've been pasteurizing the almonds, so you want to make sure that you have your almonds not pasteurized, even though sometimes I say raw, but they're not actually raw. So we do have sources, we do have farmers that they do farm for, especially for raw food communities, raw food establishment.
No. Why not pasteurizing almonds? It knock out the nutrition? Takes out
it does. It kills all the enzymes, and it also a chemical process.
Chemical process?
There is a chemical process, which is, I understand the farmers that wants to protect themselves, but it doesn't serve us because that food is dead. It is nothing in it for us anymore. So why should we even eat something that it doesn't provide anything?
And the almond provides protein for us.
Yes, it does provide protein for us, and it provides also calcium for us once you turn the almond to the milk. And sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, hemp, another product, is really, really amazing product. Flax seeds and sesame seeds also rich on the calcium. So we use all the seeds. We use hazelnuts. We use macadamia nuts. We basically use cashews. We use walnuts and pine nuts. We use all that to mimic the meat that you don't need the meat. So we get our proteins through the seeds and nuts by doing it very science, like we soak them, we sprout them so that they don't really impact your digestive system. And then we also give you that with the balance of greens so that you don't have so much seeds and nuts in your system.
So 50% green, 25% nuts.
Yes, and 25% fruits.
25% fruit. And you don't even care about the calories because what we're eating, our body will digest that properly.
Yeah, you get the fat, you get the sweet, you get everything out of that balance.
And then also we drink water, right? I know that in your restaurant, I like to go to your restaurant because it's not called reverse osmosis, but it's
called ionized water.
Ionized water. Yeah.
Yes, ionized water comes from Chicago Water Supplies, which is comes into the system and then there gets divided into two different areas, which is one is called positive ions, one is called negative ions. Yeah. What this device does is it actually charges the water like electrically and separates the water by clusters and attracts the one side negative and one side positive. Then what we drink is the negative side, which comes to our body like an antioxidant. And Chicago Waters, by the way, comes in very good level through these machines. Machines can actually identify this water. So then it actually adjusts the water that we can actually have a really good alkaline water at the 7.2 or 8.2 or any level you want. This is done by the device. So we have alkaline water available, and we do use alkaline water to make our teas and our pretty much all our ingredients in our food. We use alkaline water.
Alkaline water. That's and Chicago water is excellent water to drink.
Yes.
Except you just go one step further.
Yes.
Because in my house I have reverse osmosis, but Chicago water is an excellent water to drink for drinking purposes. And that's why I like to go to your restaurant because I do love to drink your water.
Thank you.
Now. You mentioned that when people is on your live box program, they'll lose weight. We mentioned that. We mentioned that health-wise, if someone is a diabetic, they'll improve their diabetic. I mentioned on my PSA, improve on my level reading, improves on blood pressure. So the question is, we're saying all this, sir. So can you safely say that organic food does make a difference?
Yes, organic food definitely make difference, and you have in your body somewhere there's like a configuration code that you were born with, and it's in your system. And once you start eating naturally, and when you do your detox and regularly you cleanse your body and you have enough water and you eat properly, your weight goes down to your natural configuration. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to worry about it. You will just be in your weight normally and it will stay there. You don't have to do anything. So that's what is becomes relevant, and that's what becomes possible by eating this way and drinking adequate amount of water, which is, we say, if you're a 100-pound person, you should drink at least 50 ounces of water. I mean, you don't
50
have
ounces of water?
Yes, like
so half of what you weigh
in
times one?
Times ounces.
Times ounces?
Yes. So if you are 100 pounds, you should drink 50 ounces of water daily.
Boy, I'll be going to the washroom eliminating.
Well, you don't have to, but this is the process that we actually also help folks to do in the detox program, because we don't drink enough water, and a lot of times we get thirsty and then we're thinking we are thirsty, but we're thinking we are hungry, and we collapse those two, and then we go to food rather than water.
Oh, I see. So you're drinking water instead of food,
and then we
junk
overeat.
food. They call it junk food or overeat.
Yes.
But the water signal to your brain that I'm full, or
there's a nourishment comes through the water also, that it might not come from the food supply sometimes, and then you want to make sure that you do have enough water so that you don't actually feel hungry. Or when you're hungry, you don't think that you're just hungry for food. Sometimes you could be hungry for drinking, and you could be thirsty.
So we're talking about eating organic food, becoming a vegan, eating raw vegan. You got a vegan, a vegetarian, and you got the meat eaters out there, right? And I know that we eat meat for all of our lives.
Yes.
And then the vegetarians came along. Now the vegans are here. Is this a fad, or is this here to stay?
Well, this is what I can say about this right now, is that eating the way people are eating right now in the 21st century, it's kind of like a survival mode, and definitely I can say right now that in about 2 years most people will be eating plants and vegetables and more greens for sure. But here, what to achieve is not to so much to be survival, like just to survive through, like, let me just eat something to eat, or let me put something to my stomach. It doesn't matter is it meat, or it doesn't matter something is cooked or not cooked. It is basically getting off from that survival mode to go into the living mode. Like, really, that's the whole thing. We need to look at that issue. Like, we want to be in the living mode. We want to have something that is alive to put it in our mouth, not something meaty or something cooked or something terribly processed sugar like that, but that is going to put us in the survival mode. We have to realize that first. So if you want to be in the survival mode, that's fine. We are already been doing that, and we've been surviving really good, and we are all here, right?
Well, we've been surviving because of our prescription drugs, our new scientific modernization in medicine, but how are we surviving?
Yeah, it's a lot
maybe
of pain.
a lot of people, maybe people are surviving at older age and they're in a lot of pain and taking 15 drugs a day, where they could go the other way.
Yeah, we want to get off that survival mode and to go into the living mode. That's the key. Like, going into the living mode and just experience that for like a couple of months, and that's where you want to stay, to be in the living mode. And that's really possible, and that's really easy for us to do, because just remember, we ate live food millions of years ago for millions of years, before when we even discovered to cook food or start killing animals or start hunting. Before, we just used to eat plants, so we can easily go in and eating natural food, plants, and like I describe here, 50% greens is what we really want to achieve. Like, whatever the kind of greens, carrot tops, beet tops, you go in your supermarket or your farmer's market, get some more greens in your life, and you can easily achieve that living mode, and you will experience something you never experienced in your life.
And that's what keep our body in an alkaline
Yes.
stage.
Yes,
Because
and it
of
will
the
be
green.
nice balance there, like alkaline, and nothing can really knock you down. And then you'll be right on the curve, right there, and you'll just go steady, and you know, it just numberless benefits there, being alkaline.
And also just by eating raw vegan, you're helping the environment,
Yes,
right?
definitely.
You're helping the environment. The farmers are growing their crops for human consumption in a way where they're not using any processed fertilizer,
Yes,
pesticides, herbicides, or they're using organic manure.
yes, they do.
And this way, when the plants are grown, it absorbs the CO2, whereas the other way is not providing nutrient in the soil, and it doesn't absorb the CO2. So you're benefiting yourself, and you're benefiting the environment.
Yes, and you know, our city here, Chicago, you know, Mayor Daley, even I hear that he allows some of the folks to rent some of the lands for really reasonable price to do organic farms, and so there are a lot of local farms near the Chicago area, and also even you go out 20 miles, 30 miles, there's a lot of good farmers out there to come to the city markets, farmers market, to bring some organic stuff. I'm working with one farmers right now from Michigan. Actually, he has just certified apple farm, and he's bringing us every week about 3 to 4 case organic apples. Taste like out of this world, just like, you know how they say, have one apple a day, you know, have your health, you know, really at the optimum level. So just starting eating more fruits and more greens can actually start a good start.
Now, Chef Mehmet, you're considered the #1 vegan chef here in the United States. Okay, the #1, and they have culinary schools here. Okay, now if raw food doesn't cook, and and they go to the school to learn how to cook, how can you be a chef? How can someone out there become a chef just like you? and maybe someday they'll be the #1 chef like you are.
There's you know, there's lots of raw chefs out there, and you know, I went to California myself, study in California at culinary school, and but here's the thing, there's a really nice technology behind this, and it's really easy to do. And we have classes that we actually have 1-day classes, 3-day classes.
Oh, you're teaching now?
Yeah, I'm
teaching.
teaching.
That's excellent.
We have a culinary school actually ourselves in our establishment, and we do even certified people in the like really school setting, in a very structured class. We give proper information, including nutritional values, sanitation values, and also all hands-on preparation. So you can actually make all the stuff. You know, we're teaching people all the stuff that you can learn, that we can actually teach and certify.
So you're not just teaching them how to make a salad, right?
No.
You're I mean, a salad, you know, you get your mixed greens and then you get your tomatoes, and that's a salad. But you're actually teaching them how to make, explain every type of food that you're teaching your chefs.
Yeah, we
your
teach,
future chefs.
Yes, we teach, you know, I teach and certified more than 300 people so far in Chicago, and these people are coming all over the world basically. And the 1-day class is actually, you learn how to make almond milk, you learn how to make pasta, sauce, you learn how to make desserts.
And this is all vegan. I mean, this is not wheat products, all from vegan, from vegetables.
Yes, we teach you how to make cheesecakes. We teach you whole thing. You know, whatever is there, you know, you learn how to make a chocolate mousse.
Okay, on the screen, Sherry, would you please bring back on the screen and let our chef Mahmoud. Now, what is that on the screen?
That's a piece of cheesecake that has no cheese, no butter, no sugar, no flour, no eggs.
No eggs.
But it tastes like unbelievable. Hard to believe that it's actually healthy.
Healthy, yeah.
Yeah, it's very healthy, and it is actually very tasty. We use agave nectar to sweeten with the dates, and we have walnut on the crust, and then we use cashews and lemons to make the cheese, and we use little vanilla extract, you know, organic vanilla extract. So everything is organic anyway, to give really this taste that you just like the first bite is there, and like wow, what is this? How, you know, how do you make this stuff? So
now, what else do you have, Sherry? Do you have any other prepared meals that you could show up there, like a pasta or lasagna? Or
Yeah, we make lasagna, we make like I said, kebabs, and
Kebabs?
we make kebabs, we make teriyakis.
Okay, now what's that? Raw lasagna?
That's lasagna, yes.
Okay, now what is raw lasagna?
Raw lasagna is basically really nicely shredded veggies like zucchini,
Yeah.
and mushrooms, spinach, nicely layered on top of each other, and each layer has a different flavors and different tastes, and then you have almond cheese in between the layers, and then you finish it with the marinara, which is, sometimes can take 2 days to make it. We can make that marinara in 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
And it will be, I had a lot of Italian students. They say like, wow, how did you do this in 10 minutes? You don't have to cook this in two days or 24 hours, whatnot. So you can actually have same marinara in 10 minutes, and it's all live, and it's the same taste. Even better. Because it's all there. I mean,
and also
not against anything
bread.
The Italian marinara sauce.
Now, who makes up the majority of raw people in Chicago? I mean, it's just, as you mentioned, it's not a fad now because people want to stay healthy.
Yes.
Who makes up, what are the majority of raw people? Are there lawyers, doctors, carpenters, judges?
Yeah. We have everyone like yourself. It's just another consciousness that people are coming from all different ethnic backgrounds, all different working class, and all, lawyers, like you name it. Everyone comes into we have actually right now more than 2,600 people in our program, Lightbox program, that they're coming and getting our boxes, and these numbers are growing. And not necessarily they're coming at once, but they're spread it out, and that's how many numbers of people are being exposed and have come to our Lightbox programs. And regularly we make about 20 to 25 boxes a day to prepare for folks that come in and get our Lightboxes.
And actually, a person that visits your restaurant, he's not giving up a lot.
No.
Right?
They're not giving up a lot, and they're actually gaining more. And we're not saying eat this 100%. We're saying add this to your diet and start understanding what can it do for you. And then a lot of times people actually switch 100%, or they're just say, okay, this is great. I'm just going to come once a week and have another option.
And this is Chef Mehmet, the #1 raw vegan chef in the United States.
Thank you, Frank, for allowing me to come to this show. I really appreciate it. Really, I'm so thankful. So thank you.
And his restaurant on Irving, 3 blocks east of Kedzie.
Thank you. Thank you. Really.
Go raw.